Facebook, the world's largest social media network, is facing the biggest crisis in the platform's history. In the past, Facebook has been accused by whistleblowers and activists. It has firefighted PR storms and sat before congressional inquiries. But this is the first time Facebook is facing all of it together, including non-stop international media coverage on how Facebook has been spewing hate through its platform. A few days back, a consortium of 17 US news media organizations started publishing a series of stories against Facebook. They decided to call it Facebook Papers. Facebook Papers relate to thousands of internal company documents of Facebook that were released by whistleblower Frances Haugen, who is a former employee of Facebook who was turned whistleblower. The internal documents of Facebook leaked by Haugen is a treasure trove in itself of how Facebook was fanning hate. Her disclosures, made to the US Securities and Exchange Commission and provided to Congress in redacted form, the details of which is shocking and completely puts Facebook to shame. So what did Frances Haugen reveal? Why are her revelations extremely important for India? Why should Indians, not just users of Facebook, but all Indians be worried about Haugen's disclosures? Let's unbreak the news. Frances Haugen has said that Facebook stokes online hate and extremism. It pushes people to the extremes. Facebook is making hate worse.
And then they say, look at all the good we're doing. Like, yes, that's true, but we didn't invent hate. We didn't invent ethnic violence. And that's not the question. The question is, what is Facebook doing to amplify or expand hate? What is it doing to amplify or expand ethnic violence?
You're right. I mean, Facebook didn't invent hate, but do you think it's making hate worse?
Unquestionably, it's making hate worse.
Thank you.
That was Frances Haugen, the 37-year-old data scientist who has been accusing Facebook of pursuing profit over people's safety. Frances had joined Facebook in June 2019. Initially, she joined a team that focused on Facebook's activity during elections around the world. But soon she grew frustrated as she became more aware of how Facebook was spreading misinformation online that stoked abuse and violence, and what was even more disgraceful was that Facebook did not care to address it. What's worse, it instead tried to fan it to pursue profits. Before Frances Haugen resigned in May, she copied thousands of pages of the company's internal documents to show the world how the largest social media network in the world was responsible for stoking violence, communalism, and spreading hate against minorities. How the largest social media network in the world was a mere puppet in the hands of ruling dispensations and politicians. How the largest social media network in the world was using its platform as an incubator of hate and terrorism. At the heart of the Facebook Papers, at the center of this controversy, is India. With over 340 million users, India is the largest market for Facebook. Not just Facebook, at least 400 million Indians use Facebook's messaging service, WhatsApp. But both these platforms have time and again been accused of spreading hate speech and toxic content, and at times even stoking violence that has led to loss of lives. So India has gifted a huge base for Facebook by being the largest user base of the platform. So what is an Indian user's experience on Facebook? What does an Indian user see on Facebook, or should we say, what is shown to an Indian user on Facebook? This was exactly the part of a 2019 experiment. In February 2019, ahead of the general elections in India, a Facebook employee created a dummy test Facebook user account. This test account was kept live for 3 weeks. This was very close to the time when the Pulwama attack had taken place and 40 Indian soldiers had lost their lives. During this time, tension between India and Pakistan was high. Coming back to the dummy test account, the account's newsfeed started getting flooded by divisive, polarizing content. The employees said they were shocked by the content flooding the newsfeed, which has become a near constant barrage of polarizing nationalist content, misinformation, and violence and gore. The dummy user account started seeing content where hate speech, unverified rumors, and viral content ran rampant. The employees said that the recommended groups were overflowing with fake news, anti-Pakistan rhetoric, and Islamophobic content, and much of the feed was extremely graphic. The revelations exposed how Facebook's algorithms and its default settings played a huge role in spreading communal hatred and violence. So is Facebook doing all of this on its own? Or is some powerful entity remote controlling and pushing the social media platform to be their propagandist network in India? What do the papers reveal? The leaked documents reveal that as far as India is concerned, hate speech and misinformation was intensified by Facebook's recommended feature and its algorithms. The documents mention that RSS-linked users, groups and pages promote Islamophobia and fear-mongering. But this is not the first time Facebook has faced such criticism. A report in 2020 said that Facebook India's former public policy director Anki Das opposed the idea of removing hateful posts by BJP politician T. Raja Singh, where he called Muslims traitors. He threatened to raise mosques, and he said that Rohingya Muslim immigrants should be shot. The Wall Street Journal had at that point reported that Anki Das had told her employees that punishing violations by politicians from Mr. Modi's party would damage the company's, that is Facebook's, business prospects in India. The Wall Street Journal had also reported that there were at least 3 more similar posts, but they were also not taken down after they were flagged because Facebook felt that it could hurt the company's commercial interests in India. After the controversy erupted, the politician's post was taken down. Anki Das also stepped down from Facebook. Facebook promised that it would turn a new leaf and crack down against misinformation, but the latest Facebook papers reveals that nothing, absolutely nothing, has changed ever since. And the company still values profits over human safety. The papers also revealed glaring details about emojis. Those innocuous-looking emojis that we all use on WhatsApp and Facebook, the angry faces, the sad faces, the happy faces, the kisses, the hearts, the hugs. What is bewildering is that the papers reveal that even emojis were used to fan hateful content. For instance, Facebook gave its users many options to react to a post in their newsfeed beyond the thumbs up or like feature, like love emoji, laugh emoji, wow emoji, sad emoji, and angry emoji. The Washington Post revealed that Facebook had given values to these emojis to understand which emoji is more important than the other. Facebook apparently gave 5 points to angry emoji and just 1 point for a like symbol. Giving extra value to angry emoji meant that emojis with angry emoji based content would be pushed, and this in turn would mean that more provocative content would be shown on users' news feeds. It was reported that at one point, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg encouraged users in a public reply to use the angry emoji to show that they disliked something. The fact was that doing this would make the user see more feed that attracted similar content. When there was a lot of pushback within the Facebook on this, the company finally decided to set the value of the angry emoji to 0. Not very long ago, we saw the Cambridge Analytica data scandal, where a disgruntled former employee of Cambridge Analytica had said that the company had improperly harvested Facebook data to build voter profiles without users' consent. By doing that, they were able to have a handle on manipulating elections across the world. To sum all this up, Frances Haugen says, anger and hatred is the easiest way to grow on Facebook. She says Facebook was unquestionably making hate worse. In a recent interview, a former Facebook data analyst and whistleblower Sophie Zhang said that Facebook was selective in removing fake accounts during the 2020 elections in Delhi. There were 4 accounts in question. Facebook removed 3 accounts and chose not to remove the 4th one because it was personally being handled by a BJP MP. Facebook fired Zhang in 2020 citing poor performance. Zhang has now come to the fore saying that she will be more than willing to testify before the Indian Parliament or Parliament of any democratic nation. So what is Facebook doing about all of this? 87% of Facebook's global budget for time spent on classifying misinformation is allocated for the US. Only 13% for the rest of the world. Out of the 13%, how much is spent for India? One can make an easy guess. This even when India is the largest user of Facebook in the world. According to the papers, Facebook saw India as one of the most at-risk countries in the world. Facebook identified Hindi and Bengali languages as priorities for automation on violating hostile speech. But why didn't Facebook allocate enough local language moderators? Because it was spending most of its budget on the US, even when it was making most of its profits from India. According to a statement that Facebook gave to the Associated Press, the company claims that they have invested significantly in technology to find hate speech in various languages, including Hindi and Bengali, which has reduced the amount of hate speech that people see by half in 2021. But when Facebook says they have invested significantly, Frances Haugen says Facebook's safety teams were under-resourced and that Facebook has been unwilling to accept even little slivers of profit being sacrificed for the safety of its users. A Silicon Valley venture capitalist was recently found saying, Facebook is selling fear and hatred. It is not a fluke, it is a business model. And negating all these allegations, Zuckerberg has been saying that these are coordinated efforts to selectively use leaked documents to paint a false picture of his company. Coming back to India, the rhetoric continues. The Ministry of Electronics and IT has shot off a letter to Facebook India's Managing Director Ajit Mohan, asking him what processes have been set in place to moderate content on Facebook to make Facebook a safe platform for its users. The Committee on Peace and Harmony of Delhi Assembly had summoned Facebook on November 2nd for evidence and suggestions to prevent communal disturbances like the 2020 Delhi riots. Facebook has sought 14 days' time to appear before the committee. But we all know, if Facebook has indulged in wrongdoing, powerful entities here in India have pushed the button. It's quite ironic that the same people who remote control the social media network in India are the people who want to judge Facebook for its flawed functioning. The respective governments think that such attempts will help them clean their slate, and Facebook, despite this controversy, continues to make profits. All they don't realize is, at the end of the day, hate is like forest fire. Once lit, it does not differentiate between a tree and a sapling. It burns the entire forest down.